John Douglas, a former FBI special agent and criminal profiler, said that a serial killer is the human manifestation of evil in its most pure form. This reflects the chilling nature of serial killers as seen through the lens of a criminal psychologist. This is an 8-week special. Don't miss it on All Access Network Television. The opinion expressed here do not necessarily reflect the views of the network production company. Viewer discretion is advised. This program contains violent content which may be too intense for some viewers and listeners. Viewer-listener discretion is advised. This week on Serial Killers, Supernatural and Murderers. What's up, Lane?
Hello. Well, I'm so excited. I got part of my voice back. I still sound like crap, but I'm going to give it my old college try over here. But we're talking about one of my favorite serial killers is John Wayne Gacy. That dude, wait till you hear some of the stuff about this guy. You're going to be like, holy crap. And let me tell you my little story real quick before we go live with everybody else. All right. This is the reason I don't like clowns. They started out as evil during the Middle Ages. They would rob people, rape, pillage people, but they would have their faces painted up like clowns. And then you go to somebody like John Wayne Gacy, who was a freaking clown, serial killer. So that just tells me that all clowns are evil, just evil.
True that. Just going with it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got that right.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't stand them.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Dolls and clowns. Nope. Not for blame. Nope.
Well, I'll do my best.
Yeah, everybody has that. A lot of people have that fear of clowns. There's quite a few people.
I don't fear them. I hate them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
I will mess a clown up. I will mess a clown up.
My basketball coach asked me to be a clown at his kid's birthday party, and I did. And I thought, after that, I look at pictures of myself in that outfit. And then the church asked me to do it. And I thought, I've got to get out of this. How did I get involved in this? So, yeah.
Who knows?
They freaked me out.
No.
All right, Chris, thank you for being there for us. Thank you, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Thank you, everybody. Chris O'Toole, you're the best. And she says, clowns are hella scary, especially when one just comes out of nowhere and scares the shit out of you when you were a kid.
Yes.
I'll pass on to clowns. So
that would have been a hard clown.
Yeah.
That clown would have been limping off, I guarantee you that.
Tracy Rizzo says, I used to do a clown ministry and scared myself.
Lord have mercy.
Look in the mirror like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well.
Oh, my goodness.
Want to know what the scariest part of it is? Jumping into John Wayne Gacy here. A lot of people don't know is, he was a clown, but he had two different clown personalities.
Yes, he did.
He had Pogo the clown, which was the happy clown.
Yeah.
And the upset or moody Patches the clown.
Patches. Oh,
which says a lot about finding out about Gacy later on. Having these two different personalities says a lot about his psychosis and how everything turned out after the fact when you look back on it. Why did he have two clown personalities? And it just says a lot.
Two they know of.
Yeah.
He might have had he could have had other ones when he was disavowing those young boys he was serial killing.
I really wonder, I know there's a couple of them early on that were able to get away from him.
Yeah.
Later on, I think, a lot of serial killers, they figure out how to keep that from happening. But I wonder if he ever was in his clown outfit and killed anybody. I wonder about that because nobody really knows. Nobody lived to tell the story.
Well, you think about it. Okay. All the time he dressed up as a clown. Just like he just picked up some boy on the way home from being a clown and took the kid home and did his way with him, you know,
Yeah.
and the full clown makeup.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Me.
Lee froze on us.
I think Lee
She's froze.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing is, a lot of his victims, worked with him.
Dude,
he had his own fix-it business or whatever.
He had a construction company.
And he hired all these kids.
This is funny. Where my wife is from in Illinois, it's a little town called Chatham, right next to Springfield. John Wayne Gacy had a construction company in Springfield and did a repair job 2 houses down from my wife's home.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a small world, Yeah,
Jennifer actually saw him. She was probably 5 or 6 years old, just saw him out there with some young kids doing some construction work.
Yes, Lee has a weird face that's frozen.
I know.
He's giving us the clown smile.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Holy shit! I wish Lee could see herself. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
it does. It looks like a demented clown.
Yeah. I'm about to try to take a picture. Watch it. It'll unfreeze when I do that.
Oh, there she is.
Dang, I didn't get
it.
Young
clown.
This is making me so mad.
Oh
my
God!
God!
Understand it, Lee. You had this deranged clown face stuck on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I love it.
I think she's froze again.
Oh, she's doing her mad Patches face now. So.
Okay, we got her back. Delusional clown.
All right, here we are.
Yep.
Boom.
No.
Why is it not going?
Oh, it went
It
for
did.
a second.
Subliminal.
Okay, Pogo on the left.
Yeah, the one with the smiley face, that's Pogo, and the one with those kind of straight, that's Patches.
Patches. Holy crap.
Oh.
Okay,
And
both of those.
there was a profiler. I'm sorry, bud. Go ahead.
No, go.
What I was going to say is I just was watching a profiler, okay? And that's why I was like hurrying my butt to get in here to do the show. He was actually profiling the clown makeup and the different clowns. And then what happens? You guys bring that up. And I'm like, of course you did. Of course you did. So that's the whole supernatural part. He said that the majority. Go ahead, Blaine.
You think I'm not going to know about his evil clown and his happy evil clown? Come on.
Oh, God. All of it's wrong.
Thomas, too.
So one of the things that he mentioned is that most clowns, it's sort of a brimming smile that's sort of painted and brushed out. Most clowns, or they'll do, the lines, like a mime. You can usually tell between the two. And something very unique about him when he was a clown was that he painted almost a bat wing looking mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like his super persona, his super evil persona or dark persona. And then the other one was when he was beaten, because if you look at his background as a child, he got hurt on the playground and got knocked out, got hit across the forehead, and he had blackout after blackout. So, he was all messed up from that. And then, of course, his father beat the mess out of him and his mom and repeatedly. And I was watching an interview with one of Gacy's friends that he used to go over there and eat. If he was 2 minutes late coming in, for, to dinner, he didn't get to eat that night.
No.
So he just stayed at his friend's house and ate over there. And they were, trying to get some answers of, what he was like as a kid to try to find. Of course, he was born with stressors because he was effeminate and his dad made fun of him. And then when he became yes. Oh, see, that's so sad. It hurts me so bad to hear that.
Well, there was a family friend of the family that molested him at a young age. A lot of the other things, he had a heart condition too at a young age.
Yeah.
So they didn't want him to do any sports or anything like that. He had a burst appendix. And all the time, he spent a lot of time in the hospital during the school time. Yeah. His father would say, "You're faking it. he
Oh,
didn't have
shit.
that empathy for him. And a lot of that was his mom would try to protect him, and his dad would just call him a sissy. But a lot of it, his father was an alcoholic and a World War I veteran. So I'm wondering that passed on PTSD from him, what he was doing to his children and all that.
Yeah,
how
let's
it just
don't
shows
forget
that
the
ancestral
epigenetics.
trauma,
Yes.
Mhm.
So.
There it is. All right, so I've got a little message here from Chris O'Toole, and she's a bit of a historian when it comes to Texas. She's great about a lot of things, but especially Texas. Did you know that John Wayne Gacy and Dean Corll, who was most responsible for the mass Houston murders, over 20 runaway boys he murdered and buried in different parts of Houston? He and John Wayne Gacy were linked to American pedophile sex offender John David Norman, who ran an underground pedophile ring, and there's suspicion that there was a connection between them and trafficking boys to different locations. Now, of course, he's going to. I had read recently about this, that he was a big part of a group, that it wasn't just him doing his thing. He was actually a part of a group.
That's what I'm thinking, that some of his victims might have been done by
But it was all very
pedophiles.
Yeah, it was all very similar. Gacy had two of his workers dig holes, and of course they said they didn't know anything about it, but how could he dig down there and not? And then the other guy, Dean Corll, was referred to as the Candyman, and he had two people would go find kids for him to bring back to the house.
Sure would.
So
and
so there's always somebody helping.
Yeah,
but pretend they don't know anything about it.
It was rumored that Gacy had another person bringing in victims too.
Yeah.
Now that we've said the victim word, here's a small picture of what it was like under his house. The very first shovel under his house yielded human body parts. The very first shovel load of dirt. Okay. And do you see how many people are? That's just a snapshot. Okay. Sorry, it's in black and white, but it was a newspaper clipping, and numbered stakes indicate where the bodies of John Wayne Gacy's victims were buried in the crawl space beneath his suburban home. And he paid kids, young boys, money, and said that he worked for the government about studying homosexuality, and he would pay them to screw his wife. Yes, I said it.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was blunt like that, but I didn't said it. It's gone. So I tried to keep it.
Well, you did give the warning. You did give the warning.
I gave all over the place. So, and thank you for the thing at the bottom, Gwen.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this, if you don't like it, turn the channel. Sorry.
Please do.
So anyway,
this is going to be graphic.
But
because
here's my wife.
This is violence, and it was graphic as all can be. We're trying to get it out there where this doesn't happen again to other people, to make you more self-aware.
Thank you. That's exactly right. And I know for a fact people are actually listening, and they're taking in the information of just what Gwen and I experienced in Savannah, Georgia. There's other people that have reported things to me that they are more aware. We are going to go into tactics that you can use. If you are abducted or if you are being attacked, there's techniques that you can use. And, okay. Well, Pam Harris is messaging now, and she said that she investigated
she was on my last
prison. Hey, Pam, thank you for being on the show. And she said where John Wayne Gacy where he was at. Let me go back to the pictures now. So out of 33 young men, okay, there's some pictures that are missing. But did you know that in 2021, another victim was identified?
Really?
What?
Yep.
Here he is. He's from North Carolina, and he vanished in the 70s. And he had moved into the Chicago area. They found his remains in the crawl space in 78, but they didn't know who he was. And see, they're just now getting around to doing DNA testing on all of this. So he was identified. So there's actually the sheriff's office in the town he lives, John Wayne Gacy lived, They actually still have an advertisement on their website saying if you feel like a family member of yours that went missing during this time may be a victim of John Wayne Gacy, then come and give a DNA test to us, and we'll go against the DNA that's in our archives and see if it's a match. And so they're still trying to figure out, how many people.
That's where you see those darked out pictures. Those are bodies they discovered but unidentified. To this day, we're coming into 2025.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm just having a hard time talking about this.
They believe that he had at least 6 or 7 more that he had thrown in water.
Yeah,
that they haven't found yet.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, his last victim before he got caught was what was his last name? Peast or whatever.
Yeah.
And he admitted to throwing him in, not putting him under the house, that he threw him into the lake or the river or whatever water source was nearby.
Yep.
But they never found him. So
no.
And of course they know, by now who it was, and they're going to test all the bodies that were under the house for him, but none of them have ever matched.
Yeah. And you look at the size of the house, it really wasn't that big, square foot wise. To him to have at least 29 bodies underneath that. That's because I think that house is only about 11 or 1,200 square foot.
Yeah.
It wasn't that big. And to have all those bodies in there, that means he had to be digging, stacking, digging, and stacking.
But he wasn't digging. He was having people dig for him.
Well, yeah, you're right.
He was putting lime down there so it doesn't smell.
Yep.
But, the people that were helping him, those 2 teenagers who some of these kids he molested, but they still worked for him.
Yeah.
That's the incredible part. It's like, hey, get away,
Well, they would actually help him find victims too.
Yeah.
They would tell him, hey, you guys want to go drink beer and smoke pot? I know this guy. He'll give you all that stuff.
Yeah. And then they go to the house. He gets them all drunk.
And watch stag movies.
Watch stag movies at the time. But then he say, well, I'm a clown and all that. I have these tricks that I do. And he pull out the handcuffs.
Yep.
And he handcuff himself and show how he could get out of them. Said, why don't you try? And of course, he had the hidden key.
Yeah.
And he'd handcuff them. So, just nuts.
And then it was on.
Yeah.
I mean, you imagine how defenseless they were? It's like you're handcuffed now. What the hell are you going to do?
Yeah.
Kick.
Yeah.
You're already looped up and you're drugged up and drunk. So you're not going to fight too well anyway.
Well, one of his earlier people that he tried to do this to before he supposedly learned better, the kid he put the handcuffs on, and then Gacy went in another room. The kid escaped the handcuffs. When Gacy came back in, he beat the crap out of Gacy because he was a high school wrestler.
Oh, good for him.
And he was able to get out. So
I hope he beat the bricks off.
It would have been. I wish he had killed him.
But he was a big witness for the
prosecution.
For the prosecution.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people wouldn't know that that's what his method was, to put handcuffs on people from this guy, and other people. So yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, this dude. I mean, just go to the mentality side of him. It's like we got a little bit of his background. Okay, he was abused as a child. He was beat up. He was called names, put in dresses. Can you imagine, though, him taking that anger out all at one time on his victims?
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine how just
unleashed that
is? And you got to figure his anger at that time would have been tenfold, because all he was thinking about all the shit that happened to him when he was a kid and younger. Well, did he get arrested like in 1968 or 69 for sexual abuse of a child and went to jail?
He was arrested for sodomy.
Sodomy, yeah.
And he was a model prisoner and got out. Supposed to be like a 10-year sentence. He got out in 18 months.
18 months. And this is even weirder, dude. He was a big, I'm not going to go political on this, but he was a big Democratic supporter. Had his picture made with Rosalind Carter.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the president's wife had a picture made with a freaking serial killer?
I know.
Holy crap.
A lot of
So
controversy.
here's a slide. Here's a slide, okay? These are strange facts about John Wayne Gacy. Before the murders, Gacy was arrested for molesting a teenage boy, and then he paid another teenager to beat him up.
Yep.
Okay, and then in 1967, John Wayne Gacy was a married father of 2, an active member of the JC's charitable organization, and highly paid manager of 3 Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise outlets, which prompted friends to call him the Colonel. But he was still grappling with taboo impulses, such as he was aroused by the sight of a naked male corpse and the desires set off by an alleged homosexual encounter with another adult JC's member. And then he became interested in the young boys. So whoever that was, I hope whoever that JC was that got his mind twisted up like that. It was a short twist, but that was just the last straw. All right, here's another one. To attract teenagers for sex, Gacy converted his basement into a hangout where he provided alcohol and pornography. One target was a 15-year-old boy named Donald Voorhees, and Gacy got him drunk and then forced him, into something. After that, Gacy allegedly felt emboldened and regularly paid an unknown number of teenage boys $50 to do the same thing. But then he also blackmailed some of the teenagers to keep the abuse going. So wait a minute, that's not abuse. They agreed to it, and it was an exchange. But blackmail is bad. But anyway, in 1968, John Voorhees told his dad, a friend of Gacy's from JC's, about what he had done to a 16-year-old victim, went directly to the police, and Gacy was arrested and indicted on one account of sodomy. So he actually became a head cook.
Yep.
And he served 2 years, got his high school degree, and he got his degree in business without even getting his high school diploma. So he did go back in prison and get his high school degree. So all of that was taken care of. But anyway, immediately he denied the claims and paid an 18-year-old employee to beat up Voorhees and tell him to stay out of court. He actually had the kid mace the victim. He was maced and beat up. Okay.
Holy shit.
And but when he got caught, Gacy admitted to everything, was sentenced to 10 years. He served 2, got his high school degree, served as the facility's head cook. And of course, he was the colonel, right? Anyway, he got off in 1971. The time served, just 12 months of probation. And you could go to thoughtco.com and see the rest of that. So, yeah, that's all about this man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Lee, did you see what Sean, the comment he made?
Let's look and see,
What's
Mr.
that?
Sean.
It's a long one.
Oh, I see. It's a long one. Yes. Okay. I was on an investigation where I live in Galesburg, Illinois, where they found a half body in the house, and we found articles of Gacy's in the house, and Manson, and articles of child pornography. So that's interesting that you say that. Then a week after, we were there with my mom and found the articles of Gacy in the area. That's insane. Wow. So now wait a minute. He was doing an investigation. There was part of a body found with articles of Gacy in the house. And there was also Manson articles of child pornography. Wow.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys, even up to date right now, all the stuff we're hearing about all these stars being attached to human trafficking and all that other stuff. Yeah. Now, how long has this been going on? People of power, like John Wayne Gacy was a position of power at the time.
Sure he was.
And, you know, you got to look at that. A lot of these people are a position of power in their towns. And this is stuff that's been going on. It's becoming more and more upfront now that we hear about these things. the difference is some of these people, they do this trafficking or whatever, and they end up killing some of these victims after they've had their, I hate to say, fun with them,
Sure.
you know, with their ridiculous stuff that creates that mind to switch. But if you go to Gacy, he was molested growing up. So psychology to it is two things are going to happen. He's going to grow up and he's going to do the same thing that was done to him for control, because that's all he knows. All right. And he's going to he needs to get power back, because at the time that it was getting done to him, he didn't have power or control. So psychologically, to get that control, he felt he had to be on the other way around when it came to sexual deviance. And when your first introduction at a young age to that is going to probably be the way you're going to go, because that's what you feel is the right way for you, because that's your first experience.
Now, Thomas,
so
I believe he did.
I
believe he did, but I think he went 10 times worse
than
what was done to him, because it was so traumatic for him. He had to make it where it, like you said, he had to have that control, but he wanted that ultimate control that they had no way of defending themselves. He had every amount of time to do whatever he needed to do. Was just horrible what he did.
Well, he had he learned the anger of his father.
You
know, and that's another thing that could happen. You could go one way or the other. You could be an angry drunk, or, you know, where that psychosis comes out, because most of his victims, they're all drinking together beforehand. Did that alcohol bring out the same, you know, ancestral trauma in him that it did in his father? His PTSD was being molested. His father's was World War I. Who knows? So that's kind of how it goes. And that's why we always got to keep in mind our family members, where they came from, why they think the way they do. And, you know, there's traumas there. If we try and face them face on beforehand, then hopefully a lot of this stuff could be avoided in some way or another if you get the right help. You know, nobody should think they're beyond help. You know, you got to ask for it. You got to know that something's wrong, and we got to recognize that in people too.
Exactly. Definitely, Tom.
So I got a little something here. Hold on. I'm coming. Little something. Okay, so Robin Lecht is the leader of the satanic cannibal serial killers known as the Chicago Ripper crew. He worked for John Wayne Gacy. Yes.
Wow.
So I have had so many people in the paranormal on podcasts and stuff tell me that there's no satanic connection between Satanism and serial killers. And I want you to see this right here again. This is for all of you that told me I was wrong all those years. Here, there is a group called the Chicago Ripper Crew. Robin Gecht was the leader of that satanic cannibal serial killer group, and he worked for John Wayne Gacy. Okay. And I personally believe, I'll finish reading that to you in a second, I personally believe that was the person that helped lure young people in.
I agree.
Whether it be for sex trafficking, whether it be for murder. I mean, you know, we don't have any evidence that he was a cannibal. But, you know, things keep twisting, and you can get all twisted up, right? So he continued to maintain that at least 28 of the murders. Now, he never said he didn't murder somebody. He just said that 28 of the murders were committed by employees who had keys to his house. Okay, they had keys to the house because they were digging the graves. Okay. That claim seems implausible until later revealed that Gacy had at least once hired handyman Robin Gecht to work as a subcontractor. Gecht turned out was the leader of the Chicago Ripper crew, a 4-man gang of devil-worshipping sexual sadists who raped, tortured, and cannibalized victims. Often prostitutes. Now, there's more to read from that, but let's remember, we're also looking at Sam. What is his name? Son of Sam.
Son of Sam. Yeah. He was part of a satanic group with the guy that lived in the same house, the guy that owned
Right.
the dog, he had kids, and they were friends with them, and they were part of a satanic group at the time, which was big around that time.
Yeah,
that 70s and all that.
It still is, but my point though is, again, we've got a group of satanic people that are doing things underground. They're all underground, and they're all supporting each other, helping each other. Okay, so the Ripper crew is suspected in the disappearance of 18 other women throughout 1981 to 82. So he might have been part of it. He might have been part of the start of it.
Yeah.
But it didn't end with him. Okay. And here's this. There is no criminal connection has ever been established between Gacy and Gecht, and the former claims of anything resembling innocence have been repeatedly disproven. Still, some observers have long wondered if Gacy had help in committing his abominations, and Gecht is a figure that naturally comes up in such speculative conversations.
It makes sense, because I said at the beginning of the show, he had help doing some of these abductions and murders.
Yes, you did. And then Chris made that comment about Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. So how far does this go?
I'd say
legally, you can't connect it legally as they look at it if it went to court.
Yeah.
But we all know, all of us are in our supernatural way, there's no such thing as a coincidence.
That's the fucking truth.
I'm wondering if his father.
So the old joke, what's the chances of two serial killers being in the car at the same time?
Exactly. That'd be some shit though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Would you start comparing notes? Or would you try to kill the other one?
Yeah, but it's never going to happen. It's almost like they all recognize each other.
I know, it's like, it's no different than us. I can tell if somebody has gifts just by looking at them. It's like all of us can.
Yeah.
So why could the serial killer recognize another serial killer? Maybe there's a vibe or energy.
But the internet didn't exist then. How did they find each other?
Letters, publications.
Yeah.
Groups like the Jaycees. Think about it.
That's what I was about to say.
Yep.
That's what I was about.
Yep.
Well, no, I'm not cutting off any certain group. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he was involved in politics
Sean
too.
Is saying,
and a lot of the sayings,
true.
Him being involved in politics in those parties and being able to go in and out. So even nowadays, a lot of people are saying, a lot of these politicians, these actors, actresses, musicians, and all that are supposedly, part of this P. Diddy thing that's in court now. I'm not going to speculate.
Yeah, I was headed there. But
it's all together. It's all together, So it really is, and it had to start somewhere.
Well, you think about this. Gwen made a good point about the JCs. He had a homosexual encounter with another JC. Mm-hmm. Who's to say there isn't a pedophile in the JCs, and they're going to other members, and they have like a newsletter, and they have like stuff that they can put in there where it's encrypted, that only you have to have a code to figure it out. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Chris has sent a lengthy thing again. Okay. I have a video that I recorded a few years ago tapping into Dean Coral's consciousness with her equipment that she uses. Okay. His residual energy that has memories, and it's very interesting. You can hear Dean or someone say record. So I think he may have been making snuff films. I can definitely send people the links to those videos.
Yeah.
Now that would not surprise me at all.
No,
not at all.
Chris, I'd like to see those.
Those and child pornography got circulated in the 70s quite a bit. That they would make copies of them and send them out to cities, and where they'd be distributed to other sick people like them.
Yeah, it's not only that to distribute to other people, but for the person doing it and all that, it's to relive.
Oh, yeah.
To relive. It's a trophy.
You think about it. Okay. Most of them will just go back to the scene and relive it. If they got it on film, they could watch that over and over and over again and never forget that memory. That's just effing
That's
creepy.
the same with the snuff films. They can relive it. Yeah.
I know. Exactly.
And if you've never seen one, don't eat before you do.
Don't.
No, don't. Just
Don't
don't.
see it.
Just don't see it. Yeah.
That's not going to help you anyway. It's knowing they're there. But again, it stems from, like I said, people recognizing this stuff in their children or recognizing it amongst your friends. It's all right to call somebody out and help them, you know? You gotta, you can't just let it go anymore.
No.
You can't. If you recognize something, look into it.
So many avenues now. Okay. If you don't directly talk to somebody, get online and just private message somebody. There's social media. Whatever it takes to get attention to people that need help, do it.
Yeah.
Please.
People are calling out for help,
Yes.
Because most of these people that are doing these things, I'm not saying they could be cured of it, because some of these,
it could help stop another
their psychosis. They can't be cured of it, but at least it could be contained once people know what it is, and someone could get them help or some way. But
there's new thing. Me and Dr. Phil on YouTube. He can't see me, but I see him, and I'm there, man. I am there, and he's actually been doing some work, very, very important work with psychosis and how to rehabilitate. And it really just depends on the if they're able to muffle it.
Yeah.
Because
Lee, I just sent you pages. I just sent you pages of stuff that Pam Harris sent me about Gacy. I don't know if it'll help.
Okay, cool.
That's what all that is.
Yeah, there's currently no cure for antisocial personality disorder. So,
and you
can't go back and relive your youth, unfortunately, and make it better.
Like somebody like Gacy was so very social. He was a very social person. Being in the JCs, being a clown. And could you imagine him entertaining a bunch of children and the whole time he's thinking about how he's going to kill one of his victims later?
But you're right. Antisocial personality disorder goes two different ways. Some people like Dahmer, who was very kind of reserved a little bit more.
Yeah.
And not as out in the public. He would sneak out, go to these bars. But, you get somebody like Gacy who's so in the public and puts himself out there and all that. And that's his control thing. His control is having a position of power. And that's where it stems from.
It makes me wonder if his dad was part of some World War I type of torture program, some kind of program, and then he couldn't turn it off.
True.
And then he goes home.
They could have done overseas. Yeah, think what they could have done overseas.
When you think about it, most of the guys in World War I were stuck in trenches, so they fought inch by inch,
hand to hand. Yes.
Yes.
They would only gain maybe a few inches, maybe a few feet, and then lose 10 feet the next day coming back. So they was constantly being shelled and fired upon. And when they came back, they called it shell shock before it became post-traumatic stress disorder.
Well, the thing is military is very structured and all that. Things are in their place, all those types of things. And Gacy was beaten a lot growing up. His first beating was at 4 years old because he moved some motor parts around. And just anything, like you said, a couple minutes late, you got to be on time, and all this other stuff. His father's PTSD at the time probably felt like, oh, I'm teaching this kid, a lesson that he should be on time or he shouldn't touch anything that doesn't belong to him. It's just crazy how parents with PTSD like that think that that's normal to do. He probably felt like, that's okay. And Gacy could never please his father. I don't think it was until he got married the first time and got all these Kentucky Fried Chicken franchises, and then his father finally said, I was wrong about you.
Yeah.
You got a wussy or whatever. And, but after that, Gacy went even more crazy. After that's when the first sodomy thing and all that. It's like you finally got your father's approval, but yet too late.
You throw it away tenfold.
Yeah, too late. Got even worse. So,
maybe the guilt.
Oh, it's definitely part of the guilt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe after his father finally, I don't know.
Acknowledged him, because that meant a lot to a son for your father to acknowledge you. If he never did, you feel like you was not a good enough son, or that you shouldn't have been here to begin with. I've watched that with a lot of children that don't get their father's approval.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is Gacy, I think he had some children in his first marriage, but they all changed their names, so nobody knows who they are. So impossible to track down now.
I know that. I would change my last name if that was
me. Exactly.
But yeah, it's unbelievable. This is probably up there. The top 5.
Oh, definitely
craziest serial killer cases ever.
You got to put him up there with Bundy. You got to put him up there with the Manson murders. You got to put him up there.
Dahmer.
Those are like
your H.H. Holmes, your Jack the Ripper.
If you had a mount for all the serial killers, theirs would be on the cover, on the faces of them. The Mount Rushmore celebrated serial killers.
Yeah, and he'd be dressed in the clown outfit on it too.
Oh.
So Sean is saying the pornography book that we found during that investigation was printed under a false company name and published in the mid-70s.
That would not surprise me, because that's how they got a lot of their smut out.
Well, the black market's been around for a long time. It's not just for internet stuff. The black market has always been around. How these people, when they exchange their information, like we're assuming, they must have exchanged that type of information too. You have your underground newspapers and stuff like that back in the day when we were fighting for our freedom. We had these underground newspapers to let other people know that, hey, we're fighting the regulars. It's not the British are coming, it's the regulars. So, and those types of things back then. But, knowing our history and, all that stemming, there's always an underground thing going on that we don't know about, or we just turn the eye the other way.
Well, there was so many ways they could do it. They used to have these things when I was a kid. It was called like a penny saver or the wooden nickel. They have magazines like that.
Yeah.
Anybody could put an ad in there from anywhere in the world for that locality. So you got somebody that's in a pedophile ring or snuff film ring or just, some nefarious. They would put those ads out there and they would find other people like them.
But it's coded.
Yeah,
a lot of times they code it. There's an agreement of coding and all that. We've seen them in a lot of movies, like, we've seen them in Silence of the Lambs and those types of movies, and how they would code stuff in the newspaper for other serial killers to talk to other ones and stuff like that. But that's what it is.
Yeah.
And we're back to the handyman thing I was talking about.
Yeah, he was a contractor.
I'm sorry if you're a handyman, and I'm just saying there's everybody we've been looking at. I can't help it. I see it there.
Scary. Yeah.
Well, you think about it. Okay. Maybe that's one way they could be creative, was by building stuff.
Yeah.
Or putting stuff together. Maybe that was their creativity side that they over exaggerated and
well, with Gacy. With Gacy, he had the ability to draw people into work for him.
Yep.
That created his playground. But, somebody like Geen, who's very quiet and all that, this is a way for him to go into somebody's house and fix something and leave and not have to be part of society. Exactly. So it could go 2 different ways. Like I said, antisocial behavior, either you're in the shadows or you are like up front and personal with
everybody. You're the headliner. Spotlight it.
Mm-hmm. Loves attention.
Which way you go.
Or either hates it. Yep.
Yeah. So crazy.
Well, I'm doing the slides now. A countdown of Gacy. Okay, I'll do a few and then I'll stop and do the rest. Here we go. A lot of these we've already covered.
Yep.
But, I'm just going to do a countdown. The maniacal
But when you're done with that, I'm going to blow your mind with some information. You might know, but
let's do it.
Oh, shoot.
All right.
Oh, Lord.
The grand finale.
Well, I'll make this quick. There is something very strange afoot. Okay. Some of these I cannot upload for some reason. It says that there's a boo-boo. So I'll just read it and then okay. He was abused as a child. We know that.
We know that.
Gacy himself described to the New Yorker that he was molested at the age of 15 by a 15-year-old girl from his neighborhood. Okay. And when they were found, the girl's mother beat her, and that scared Gacy. And he was molested again at the age of 8 by a contractor who was working on a building next to his house. So, not to mention what happened with his dad. Okay, so that's one thing that was pretty weird. Here's number 2. Gacy was 29 the first time he committed murder. His victim was 16-year-old Timothy Jack McCoy, who was in the area while on a bus trip layover. Gacy's crime started much earlier, though, and we talked a bit about he was only 10 years old when he met Gacy, who was a teenager. And the pair were on a hike when Gacy sexually assaulted Bolton and threatened to murder him if he didn't comply. And he went on to assault others before moving on to murder. So that we didn't really talk so much about that one, but that's pretty intense, right?
Very.
Okay. Now, number 3. This one I want to upload. You're going to flip when you see this. I was like, what? What are you? What? Come on, upload. There it is. He had an interest in the dead. He actually worked in the mortuary.
Yep.
Is that what? Did I ruin your surprise?
No, I already knew that one.
Okay, good. So when he was 20-ish, Gacy spent a few months working for a mortuary, and he lived there too, with his bedroom next to the embalming room. And he admitted that one night he got into the coffin with a dead teenage boy and fondled the corpse.
Yeah. He actually
he didn't fondle it. He did a lot more than fondle.
Yeah,
he did it. He flitted and
he embalmed. He embalmed a couple of his first victims under the house before he started doing the line.
Oh shit! Awesome.
Mm-hmm. He knew how to embalm by watching and what he learned while he worked at the mortuary.
Okay, here's another one now. Okay, many of his victims were children, but we knew that. But they were young males under the age of 30, but some were still kids. The youngest was only 14. Sam Stapleton was walking home from his sister's house when he disappeared, and Michael Marino went missing with his friend, 16-year-old Kenneth Parker. And then Randall Reffett and Rob Priest, which we talked about him, were only 15. Many of his other victims were under the age of 18. Mm-hmm. So, all right. He was able to hide within the community, keeping his facade as a family man and member of the local politics. But he also was a clown, working with children at parties and hospitals. And he designed his own makeup. We talked about that, with a large painted mouth with sharp corners, which we knew would frighten. He knew that was going to frighten kids. He wanted them to cry. Occasionally, he would let his true persona filter through the clown, punishing children he didn't like by hurting them before going back into the pretense. See, that makes me want to just slap him right now. Oh, my God.
Wow.
Now, let's see. Yeah, he would pinch them. He would hurt them. He'd make them scream. Okay, so let's see the next one. He liked to trick victims, and I know that Tom's already talked about that, but he would tell them that he was a police officer and that he had started a construction company, and he would, that's how he would bring kids in. And then also the magic trick. Number 7 is attitude towards his victims. He believed they were not human. He also referred to them as innocent viral ones. Yep. And then the last one here, there's a couple more. His victims' bodies were stored under the house, and the smell under the house was horrible. And he said, I like being a clown because clowns can get away with murder.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Here's the next one. Number 9, he did not have any remorse. His final words were, kiss my ass.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then I've got 2 more.
Yeah, kiss my ass.
Okay, the last one was some victims would never be identified, which we know, and there are people still, giving their DNA. They're missing family from that era of time, so they're still trying to figure it all out, and their bodies that have not been identified between the ages of 14 and 30. And lots of times people, these were transients, and so the family didn't even know they were missing. So he selected them well. And so a lot of people that have questioned Gacy while he was alive, obviously, they compared notes, and studies have shown that they believe it was like 33 known victims, but they say that it was closer to 45.
Yeah,
probably more.
45.
Yeah, probably.
All right, Tom, hit
Ready
us
to
with
blow
it.
your mind?
What you got?
I have a couple things for you. Okay. First off, Robert Ressler. You all know who Robert Ressler is. He's part of making the BSU even better. He coined the phrase serial killer in the 70s.
Yes,
One of the
did.
best known profilers in the world.
Yes.
Grew up in Chicago. All right. Same neighborhood as John Wayne Gacy. They were actually in the Boy Scouts together. When Gacy was first interviewed, he requested Ressler because of this and wouldn't talk to anybody else when he first committed his crimes.
Oh, God, that is amazing.
All right.
Wow.
The next best one. The night that Gacy was put to death, it was a full moon eclipse.
Yes, it was.
A few hundred miles across the way at another prison, on the same night, Jeffrey Dahmer decided to get baptized. All on the same day.
Wow.
At the same moment.
What?
All right. Is your mind blown yet?
Yes, but it's
okay.
Yes.
I had to give you guys those things.
The rest of the one, dude, was like, no shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that they were Boy Scouts together.
Yep.
How, dude? Like I said, there is no coincidence. They met as children.
Yeah.
That talked to each other, one on the good side of the law, one on the bad side of the law, after they were older.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Isn't that crazy?
Dude, that's
I think
amazing.
that's probably
Maybe that's why he recognized it.
I know, but that's the biggest piece of information I think in serial killer history. Knowing that, that
dude,
that connection
reminds me of the making of Batman and the Joker. Even though he had the Batman looking, face that.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
like the making of.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And just so people know, Stephen King didn't create it over the Gacy case because it was all going on at the same time. He already had the idea beforehand.
Yeah,
so a lot of people have speculated that's why he wrote it, but it's not. So just
he wrote
I hate to pull the rug out from under you, but that's not what it was.
No, it was actually written by him as a short story in the 60s, and he saved it and rewrote it as an it.
Yep.
I think his original title was at first was called
We like to give you the true information.
Yes.
Yeah. But Stephen King is scary.
Oh, heck yeah.
I would not want to live near him. No, thank you.
I would. I'd love to hear him.
No, thanks.
Patterson.
Yeah.
Was it Dean Patterson? He's
James
worse.
Patterson?
I think he's
James
worse.
Patterson.
Yeah. I think that Stephen King has the ability to have more suspense.
Yeah.
To me.
You know who's really good? If you guys ever read her books, she was she did the Kay Scarpetta and all that. What is her name? Same thing. It's about serial killers and stuff like that, chasing them and using forensics and stuff like that. Patricia Cornwell.
Patricia Cornwell.
Oh,
dude,
wow.
Those books are good.
Yeah.
I've read like 5 of those.
Oh, yeah. Those are good.
Well, I say we four get together and write our own book.
There you go.
I think we could.
I think we could come up with some wicked stuff.
I have the worst nightmares. I'm sure I could.
Yes, you do.
With the four of us and the knowledge that we've talked about for these last few weeks, that would be pretty badass.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give a shout out to somebody. It's somebody I didn't think had it in it. We met Bill Perry at the Alabama Paracon. He has a book. Yes. If you have not read it, read it. It is warped. I promise you, it is warped.
Bill's warped.
Yeah, I love that man. Cool. Bill, see this? I gave you a shout out. There you go.
She met one of the detectives that caught Gacy, Becky.
Becky did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sean said he really likes the show. I like it too. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Sean.
All right. So do you guys want to stay inside the United States or you want to jump outside and go with like Pedro Lopez?
No, let's go.
Pedro Lopez is probably the most prolific serial killer in the history of the world.
I know.
I need to study up on him.
Child murderer and rapist known as the Monster of the Andes.
Monster of the Andes. Okay, we could do Jack the Ripper. We haven't done H.H. Holmes yet. Yep. And I know you guys want to do
Pam.
Shorty.
Yes, thank you, Pam. Shorty.
Yep.
Lopez killed over 300 people.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do him. Let's do that.
You want to know something?
I don't know, Blaine. What do you want to do, though? Because I see you're disappointed. And you just got your voice back. I want you to have fun. You had to sit as a...
I'll have to do some studying up on him because that one I do not know. I've only kept up with American serial killers.
You want me to blow your mind really quick? I know we probably talk about him, but
yes, who? Yes,
he's not in prison.
Who's not?
Pedro Lopez.
Was he in a loony bin?
There's a thing in Peru, I think, where he was out of. You can only serve 20 years. 20 years is up.
They let him go.
He's out roaming around if he's not still alive or not.
He's out doing his things.
So who knows if he's still killing? Who knows?
How old would he be now?
I'd have to look at that. I don't know off the top of my head, but
what is it now, Pedro?
He killed between 1969 and 1980. Mm-hmm. They've been able to prove about 110 victims, but he, 300 plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Peru, you got so many places you can hide bodies. Hell, they don't know.
76.
Oh, he gets to be killing that.
7, yeah. Oh.
I just thought I would look it up, outside the United States. There's a guy named Mikhail Popkov in Russia. Mm-hmm. He's a bad guy too.
Yeah, well, there's a guy in Russia. What is it? Bakushin or whatever, the chessboard killer. So, it's another one. What is it? Harold Shipman out of Great Britain, the Dr. Shipman.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of outside this country. Of course, the most famous outside of our country is Jack the Ripper, but
which a lot of people think might be H.H. Holmes, but hey.
I think we should do a show on all the older time ones, like Jack the Ripper, H.H. Holmes, all in the same thing. Belle Guinness, the female killer that lured men to marry her, and then
Black Widow
for the insurance money. So there's a lot of ones. Jane Topin, Jolly Jane.
Oh, Jolly Jane.
We could go on. These are all ones that are before we call serial killers and all that. So these are the originals, like 1800s and stuff like that. So
that would be an awesome show.
We're talking
serial killers. That would be a good one.
So
and she interests me for some weird reason.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of people out there that have good knowledge of that.
Well, Sean is voting. He's saying Jack the Ripper. He's on Team Blaine on that one.
All right, who's still on? Whoever's still on, send your vote.
Chris.
We want our viewers. We want to satisfy our viewers. So.
That's right. Chris O'Toole Lisbony says that Pedro Lopez disappeared a year after he was released.
Of course he did.
I hope somebody killed his tail.
Somebody spiked his ass.
Good.
Now,
Not sure.
Gary Ridgway is somebody that I would love to dig into because, they said he confessed. Proven victims, right, are 49, but it's upward of 90 plus.
Can I blow your mind on Gary Ridgway too?
Yes, please do.
Sure. Oh, Lord.
Do you want to know
Yes.
the premise of Silence of the Lambs?
Okay.
Ted Bundy helped the FBI and the detectives and profiled Gary Ridgway.
Yep.
And after Bundy was put to death, they finally caught Ridgway, and Bundy's profile was spot on over everybody else.
Yeah, it was, dude.
Yeah, they think he might have been communicating with them too from jail.
I think they had conversations together. I really do. I think.
Yeah, they think they might have conversed.
Yep.
While he was in prison, just like Hannibal Lecter conversed with Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. So through that, way of doing it in the newspaper.
Jamie Gum.
Yep.
Yep.
You could stay at that house.
I'd stay there.
What house?
The Buffalo Bill house. I think it's in Pennsylvania.
It is.
And it's an Airbnb now. You could stay there.
Sounds like a road trip.
And down in the basement, the guy that lives in the house now, well, he lets
it's an
it
Airbnb?
What? Yeah, he dug out the basement. He made a well in there so you could go down and pretend to wait for the lotion in the basket, So pretty whack. You can look it up online. Anybody that's watching,
that's
look
hilarious.
It up. Stay there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bill's The Silence of the Lambs house.
Mm-hmm.
And it just came up on Airbnb.
There you go.
Entire vacation home in Perryopolis, Pennsylvania.
How much it cost tonight?
We're all going. Let's go.
Let's
What's
do
it cost tonight?
We should do a live broadcast from there.
Oh shit!
Yes,
I think so too.
Yes,
4.94 stars.
Yeah.
How much it cost tonight?
Stay overnight at Buffalo Bill's house, the famous movie house from the Academy Award-winning film,
There's a couple
The Silence
G's.
of the Lambs.
What's it say the price is?
I think it's like a couple G's a night.
Yeah, I thought
this place.
Just get like 20 people to go, and we could.
Oh no, we want a small group.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because we got to put good down in the well.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'll do it. I will. If y'all will go, I will do it. And I said it online. I'll do it.
If Blaine will, as long as Blaine tucks it in and dances around, I think I'm good.
Lord have mercy. We're all going to hell now.
Can I say, was you sort of a big girl? Can I say that too?
Yeah.
Used to be. Used to be.
Oh,
okay, I want to go if you go,
go,
Sean. Everybody wants to go. God, y'all, if we do this, we're my God. Hey,
awesome.
Look,
let's do it.
You got to see the inside of the house. Just this is the bed. Hold on.
Please pull it
It's
up.
a pretty house.
Pull it up.
Can you show your... man.
The bed says Buffalo Bill, and it has that butterfly from the movie on the bed.
Heck yeah, man.
I'm in.
I don't know if
it's
I can
on my
do
bucket
it.
list.
I don't know.
And we have to bring a
that
bucket.
house in the Christmas Story house. I want to stay at the Christmas Story house in Cleveland.
Dude, me and you both.
My other one.
There's
I'm
a
gonna dress in the pink bunny suit and then hang out at the Christmas Story house too.
Oh, dude, all day long. We'll take turns wearing the bunny suit. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah. Well, if I go to the Buffalo Bill house, I got to wear my kimono and all that. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, you know there's gonna be pictures and stuff of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We're going all
so
out.
Here's the Silence of the Lambs home. Okay.
Yep.
There's an arcade game room. All
Yep.
right. There's the exterior is like this long walk that gets to the house, right? There's the patio, which it did not look like that in the movie. There were houses close together, but there you go.
Yeah.
It's a huge place. I mean, you could probably put a bunch of people in.
Oh yeah. The more we get, the cheaper it is for all of us to hang out.
That's
Sorry.
That's what the majority of ghost hunters do. You just pack the place. Okay, here I'm on the website.
There you go.
There's the living room. There's the living room.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to drop off. Everybody, thanks for watching the show this week. We love you guys. See you next week.
Love you too, buddy.
Bye,
See you later, Blaine.
Bye.
Look at the pillows are made of the character that played James Gum.
Oh my God!
See him there in his kimono with his.
You know what I'd want to do? Get everybody down in the basement and shut the lights off and play, Marco Polo or something.
Yes.
Oh God! See the rug.
Hey, Lee, I've been saying the B word.
Girl, you have lost your mind about this. I said, shut up. Oh, look at that one. Look at this. Let me scroll down. Oh, look. See the mall?
There it is. Oh.
Mm-mm.
Bucket list, definite bucket list.
It can't rain all the time. That was in The Crow.
Yeah.
The only way you can light up my life more is be a lampshade out of your skin. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
There's the house. There it is.
Yeah. Oh my Lord.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for watching Family Spirit tonight as we do serial kill. Stick your tongue on the pole.
There's story, baby. Yes.
Oh,
Becky.
I didn't know that there was a Hannibal Lecter's area at Brushy Mountain Penitentiary. Yeah. Yes, penitentiary. There is one there, and we're trying to get there, but they're very expensive. They only let you go a few places, so it's kind of,
not worth it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because the place that they kept Hannibal Lecter in the movie was in Baltimore, Maryland. So I'm surprised there isn't anything about the movie in that area that I know of. So it would be kind of cool.
Wow. So, I just hope that everybody sees how badly that I hope you guys can hear Luna because she's snoring louder than I've ever heard her. She's just really over there snoring. Anyway, it's just a little distraction there. I want you guys to see how badly things can happen. Falling down and bringing people down with you. And it just continues. And who knows? This whole thing may have started on the battlefield of World War I somewhere, and it went into Gacy, and then Gacy went into this and that, and became part of something horrible. And we're looking at it still now. So we've got to find ways to heal each other. Yeah. And I think during 2020, when we were all dealing with COVID, that actually started a very bad chain that we've got to break. We only allow a certain amount of people in our lives. We have our little, who are we going to shelter in place with? And that's it. And we've got to break through that. And, it's better to live your life fully than to live a fraction of it. So I hope everybody tonight stops to think about all the things that are negative in your life and do your shadow work. Start pulling things apart, pulling it out and dusting it off and figure out what happened and make sure you're healed from it. Don't pop popcorn and pull up a chair and feel sorry for yourself.
Love your kids.
Start healing.
Love your kids unconditionally.
Love kids.
No matter
Love
what.
each other.
Any problem you have has nothing to do with your kids. Love them evenly. All right? Don't overparent, don't underparent. Love your kids. Keep your eyes open to things that go on around us. That's why we do this show. And it's very important that we do those types of things. And but yeah, love conquers everything. You give somebody love, it changes their way in life. And we avoid these things that we talk about on Mondays.
Yep.
What it is.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching Serial Killers, Supernatural, and Murderers. And please be sure to send us a message or comment, on our stream. Let us know who you want us to talk about next week. Have a great night.
Good night.
Good night. Let's see if I can get this to go now. Gwen, I might. No, I got it.
You got it?